So, ang discussion po natin for tonight is the most recent development po sa pagkamatay ni former Undersecretary Cathy Cabral kasi naglabas na po yung PNP chief natin and si DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla ng mga findings po nila sa investigation na ginawa po nila sa pagkamatay ni former Undersecretary Cabral. Okay, so good day po my fellow taong bayan. Yan po yung magiging main discussion natin, and aside from that po, may isi-share lang din akong interesting na nangyari talaga sa totoong buhay. Although hindi ko po sinasabi yun yung ginawa ni Yusek Cathy Cabral, pero somewhat related po siya kasi yung i-discuss ko po sa inyo both involves mga corruption issues. Okay? And aside from that, i-discuss ko na lang din po yung mga posibleng mangyari kung merong ma-establish later on na may ill-gotten wealth nga to si Yusek Cathy, kung whether or not pwede ba yun ipamana or manahin ng mga heirs niya. And then lastly po, i-discuss ko na lang din kung ano ba yung mangyayari sa mga criminal liability po in cases like this kung saan wala pang case na final pero namatay na po yung potential na magiging akusado. Okay? Before we start po, just a quick reminder lang po sa inyong lahat kasi malapit na po tayo mag 370,000. Although hindi talaga malapit, 8,000 pa yung kulang. Pero okay na po yun, at least slowly but surely lang po tayo. So this is just my quick reminder portion lang po na hopefully you can consider subscribing sa YouTube channel ko kasi wala naman pong bayad yan like what I have repeatedly explained already. And ang advantage po niyan is that if you are subscribed, you will be notified kung may bago akong upload. Just make sure lang po sa YouTube kayo mag-subscribe kasi sa Facebook at TikTok, unfortunately, merong bayad yung subscription. Pero sa YouTube, 100% libre po yan. Wag lang din itong join ang pindutin nyo kasi this is the membership program. Iba po yan. That's a way lang if you want to further support my content creation. Pero ang request ko lang po talaga is hopefully po you can consider subscribing if you enjoy my videos or kung may matutunan po kayo. Okay? Ngayon, tuloy na po tayo sa discussion. So yung pinaka-facts po ng discussion natin, I'm sure nabalitaan nyo naman po siguro na yung pinaka-recent balita po involving Yusek Cathy Cabral is that she allegedly committed suicide daw po dun sa Cannon Road sa Baguio City. Okay? And then yung findings po na yan is based on our Chief PNP, si Chief PNP Nartates and si DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla. So, diniscuss po yan dito sa mga news articles na to pero hindi ko na po ipapakita isa-isa kundi isa-summarize ko na lang po para sa inyo. Like this one po, DILG says, foul play in Cabral death completely ruled out. Okay? And then yung common denominator po na sinabi dito nila General Nartates and DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla is that kaya daw po suicide yung tingin nilang nangyari is because yung part kung saan po tumalon or nakita po yung bangkay ni Yusek Cathy Cabral is the highest portion po nung may drop sa Cannon Road. So from there, may kita natin na mukhang may intention talaga siya na maging sigurado yung gustong gawin ni Yusek Cabral. Okay, so yan po. And then aside from that, meron din po silang ginawang mga autopsy and then according to them, si Yusek Cabral naman daw talaga yung bangkay na natagpuan sa Cannon Road. Okay, so yan lang po ang most recent development. Pag i-search nyo, nothing new naman or nothing significant aside from all leads point to a alleged suicide daw po talaga. Okay, and then yung i-share ko lang po sa inyo na story ngayon is this one po, yung tungkol kay Mary Ann Maslog. So during the Senate hearings po involving Alice Guo, lumabas to siya, naging resource person to siya, si Mary Ann Maslog. So yung pinaka-story po talaga niya neto is that, known for criminal status, 1998 DEX textbook scam. So it's basically a corruption case lang din po involving textbook sa DEX. Okay, so 1998. Ang nangyari po dito, during the pendency of the corruption cases filed against her, naglabas po ng certificate, ng death certificate siya via her lawyers tapos sinubmit yun dun sa Sandigan Bayan. So nung akala ng lahat namatay na po talaga si Mary Ann Maslog, so napawalang bisa yung kaso niya or hindi na po siya napanagot dun sa kaso niya. Kasi po one of the basic principles in criminal law is that criminal liability is personal. Therefore, pag namatay po ang isang akusado, wala na pong pwede managot for that crime. Okay, so yan lang po ang gusto kong i-share because this is also a corruption issue, a corruption case. And then ang ginawa po ni Miss Mary Ann Maslog, pinalabas po niyang namatay siya. Tapos, hindi na nga po dapat siya mapapanagot talaga dito sa case na to. Pero in the most recent hearings nga doon kay Alice Guo, lumabas siya doon as a resource person and because of that, naungkat tuloy lahat ng mga past cases niya. Okay, so yan po ang interesting story lang na gusto ko i-share sa inyong lahat. So i-clarify ko lang din po, I'm not saying na yun yung ginawa rin ni Yusek Cathy Cabral dito sa case niya. Kasi so far, ang pinopoint out is si Yusek Cathy talaga yung nakitang bangkay na nandun sa baba po nung bangin sa Quezon Road. But I'm just sharing that story kasi again, somewhat similar considering they're both corruption cases and then death din po yung pinapag-usapan in both of those situation. Okay, so yan lang po ang pinaka-facts ng discussion natin. Ngayon po punta na tayo sa legal discussion natin. Yung pinakauna po talagang gusto ko i-discuss dito is kung ano yung posibleng mangyari kung later on mapatunayan na may ill-gotten wealth po talaga si Yusek Cathy. Kung whether or not pwede pa ba yun ipamana sa mga heirs niya or pwede pa ba yun or pwede ba yun matago via different names kung pinangalan po niya sa mga anak niya or sa mga ibang relatives pa niya. So currently po, para lang din fully aware kayo kung ano yung status ng cases kay Yusek Cathy. Actually, ang status po is wala pa talagang cases filed against her. So ito pa lang po yung sinabi ng DOJ. Plunder case involving Cabral et al. About to undergo preliminary investigation. So nagpaplano pa lang po sila mag-file ng plunder case against Yusek Cathy and other individuals. Pero because of what happened to Yusek Cabral, matatanggal na po si Yusek Cathy as one of the accused in this eventual case kung ma-file po talaga to. Okay, pero ang gusto ko pong i-discuss dito talaga is Republic Act 1379 or an act declaring forfeiture in favor of the state any property found to have been unlawfully acquired by any public officer or employee and providing for the proceedings therefore. So ito po yung forfeiture law natin dito po sa Republika ng Pilipinas. So kung meron pong mga ill-gotten wealth yung mga public officers natin, ito po yung pwedeng maging basihan para habulin yon yung mga ill-gotten wealth na yan. So in the case lang po ni Yusek Cathy, ang question dyan, kung pwede pa ba yun habulin considering namatay na po siya, di ba, prior to the filing of any case. At ang sagot po dyan is yes po, pwede pa rin po yan habulin kasi under Section 2, ito pong highlight ko na sentence, kung makikita po nyo nakalagay dito, the resignation, dismissal, or separation of the office or employee from his office or employment in the government or in the government-owned or controlled corporation shall not be a bar to the filing of the petition. Diba? So kahit na po natanggal na siya sa serbisyo, pwede pa rin po talaga i-file tong forfeiture proceedings against ill-gotten wealth ng isang public officer. And then I'm sure yung isang possible magiging defense sa ganitong case na to is kasi kung titingnan po natin ang nilagay resignation, dismissal, or separation of the office, wala naman pong nilagay na death, di ba? Pero dito po yan papasok naman sa separation of the office kasi the mere fact of the respondent passing away, of course, that will result to the separation sa office niya or na-terminate na po yung relationship, yung employment relationship niya with the government. So kahit po walang specific word na death, pwede pa rin po yan i-argue na papasok yan dito sa separation of the officer. Okay? And then may ipapakita lang din po akong case sa inyo na hindi yun magiging valid defense na kasi hindi included nga yung death dito because meron na po tayong actual cases na ganito na patay na po yung respondent or yung accused pero hinahabol pa rin po yung assets nila. At ipakita ko po sa inyo kung anong kaso yun na. This one po. So kung makita po ninyo, the estate of Ferdinand E. Marcos petitioner versus Republic of the Philippines. So alam naman po siguro niyo, diba, there are pending cases and there are already decided cases involving forfeiture proceedings po against the estate of former President Ferdinand E. Marcos, the father po of PBBM. So of course, it's an established fact na wala na po si former President Marcos, si Marcos Sr. However, yung mga forfeiture proceedings po against his estate still proceeded. Okay? So yan lang po ang gusto ko i-point out dyan. So therefore, even though hindi nakalagay dito yung death under this provision, included pa rin po yun siya under the term separation, or it can be argued po na included pa rin sa separation. So that's just a minor technicality I am sharing po with all of you para lang makita nyo kung paano talaga mag-argue in court. Kasi of course, if you are a defense lawyer, lahat ng nakikita mong pwede i-argue, talagang i-argue mo yan. So ina-explain ko lang sa inyo kung ano yung magiging counter-argument doon because I'm assuming yun yung probably one of the more common arguments na pwedeng gamitin. Okay, and then i-clarify ko lang din po hindi ko sinasabi namang may ill-gotten wealth talaga si Yusek Cathy. Pero since she was included dun sa papangalanan na fa-file ng plunder case, of course, plunder case involves ill-gotten wealth. So there is a possibility na later on, pag mag-proceed yung kaso na yun, baka ma-establish na may ill-gotten wealth. So ito pong discussion natin, hindi lang naman to para kay Yusek Cathy, kundi para po to sa lahat ng public officers natin na may alleged ill-gotten wealth. Okay? And then, i-discuss ko lang din po itong part na to nung section 2. So, kung makita po nyo to, whenever any public officer or employee has acquired during his incumbency an amount of property which is manifestly out of proportion to his salary as such public officer or employee and to his other lawful income and the income from legitimately acquired property, said property shall be presumed prima facie to have been unlawfully acquired. Okay, so in simple terms po, kung may makita kayong public officer na mukhang sobra-sobra yung kayamanan from his legal income, ang mangyayari po dyan, that is presumed to be unlawfully acquired. Okay? Ang maganda lang po sa presumption na yan, mababaliktad po yung burden. Kasi generally, kung ikaw ang may allege po sa isang tao, ikaw yung may burden to establish that. Pero dito po, because of this law, RA 1379, pinadali po yung trabaho ng government natin, tayo po, the people of the Philippines, sa paghabol ng ill-gotten wealth. Kasi yung presumption is illegal yung pera nila, so sila yung kailangan ngayon mag-defend. Tapos kung hindi po nila ma-defend yun, automatic po, mare-recover agad natin yan, the taong bayan. Okay? So yan po ang ibig sabihin ng presumed prima facie to have been unlawfully acquired. And then yung maganda pa po dito, there is also a recent jurisprudence regarding this na nilabas lang po this year, 2025. So this is GR number 257827, 257940, 258109, and 259593, the heirs of Lieutenant General Jacinto Ligot versus Republic et al. So in-emphasize lang po dito ng Supreme Court that wealth acquired by a public officer during their time in office that clearly exceeds their lawful income is presumed ill-gotten. Diba? So yun din yung nakalagay doon sa section 2 ng RA 1379. Okay? And then i-dagdag ko lang din po para mas maintindihan nyo talaga kasi I'm sure nababalitaan or naririnig nyo lang sa kapitbahay nyo siguro or kung saan-saang social media content na ginagawa po ng mga public officers natin is tinatago yung pangalan or yung tinatago po yung property sa pangalan ng mga anak nila, sa mga ibang relatives at kung kani-kanino pa, 'di ba? Pero kinlaro na rin po 'yan ng Supreme Court dito na hindi po 'yon magiging valid as long as yung circumstances of the case will clearly point na yung public officer talaga yung beneficial owner ng asset na 'yon. Kasi even in this case po na ito pong dinidiscuss dito, pinangalan din po sa children's names, sa sister's name, sa brother-in-law, pero kinonsider pa rin po yun ng Supreme Court as ill-gotten. Kasi nga po, the circumstances, ito po yung sa may dulo, circumstances indicate that General Ligot was the true owner. Diba? So therefore, hindi po valid defense yun para matago yung mga hidden kayamanan kung ipangalan nyo lang kani-kanino. That has already been clarified po. In this case, March 5, 2025 yung decision. Again, the General Jacinto C. Ligot versus Republic et al. Case. So, sa mga gusto po basahin to, you may do so. Just search for this. And yan, kung gusto nyo po, mas tumalino pa at maging parang abogado yung thinking ninyo. So, yan lang po ang gusto ko i-discuss regarding this. The mere death po of an individual who is alleged to have been involved in corruption cases will not result po na mapapamana or ma-acquire ng mga heirs niya yung assets niya. As long as po mag-file ng proper forfeiture proceedings yung Republic of the Philippines or the state. Okay? So ngayon po, punta naman tayo sa criminal side of things naman. So before we proceed po, another quick reminder lang po, huwag niyo po sana kalimutan din i-like mismo itong video na to because if you do so po, mas tataas yung engagement ng video and kung mas mataas po yung engagement, mas ipopromote po ni YouTube yung video ko at kung mas ipopromote po yan ni YouTube, mas madami pong makanood at makakaintindi dito sa mga legal explainers ko. So in conclusion, the mere liking of my video po is one way po ninyo sa pag-support dito sa content ko at sa advocacy ko kung saan nag-explain po ako ng batas sa current events natin. Okay, so sana po wag nyo kalimutan i-like yung video and of course mag-subscribe na din po sa YouTube if you enjoy my content. Okay, tuloy po tayo sa discussion. And for the criminal discussion po, it's just very straightforward. Kasi in criminal cases po, like what has been consistently held by the Supreme Court, criminal liability is personal po. Therefore, if an accused has already passed away, wala na pong mapapanagot sa krimen, di ba? Wala nang makukulong basically. So kung wala na pong mapapanagot, wala na pong makukulong, therefore hindi na po pwede magtuloy yung criminal case against an individual who has already passed away. Kung nasa investigation stage pa lang po, hindi na talaga pwede i-file yung case at kung pending naman po yung kaso, madi-dismiss din po yan yung kaso. Pero of course, kung meron pa pong ibang mga accused aside from Yusek Cathy in an eventual plunder case, kung meron po talagang i-file, yung case as to them will still continue. Pero kay Yusek Cathy, kailangan yun ma-dismiss because again, criminal liability is personal and if a person has passed away, wala na pong mapapanagot. Okay, so yan lang po ang basic sa criminal liability in relation to the death of an accused. Okay, kung nagtataka kayo bakit dun sa forfeiture case, bakit pwede mag-proceed kahit na po nag-pass away ang isang accused or respondent in a criminal case. And that is because a forfeiture case po kasi is not a criminal liability. Kung hindi, civil liability po yun as to the assets of that accused. And kung tatandaan po kasi natin under our law, specifically sa civil code, sources of liabilities po or of obligations can be the law, contract, quasi-contract, and delict. So in the case dito po sa ganitong situation, papasok po yan under law as the source of liability kasi yung RA 1379 po is very specific naman as to forfeiture of ill-gotten wealth. So ito yung magiging cause of action natin dyan. Hindi yan under dun sa criminal liability aspect, kundi sa source of law as a civil liability. Okay, so medyo technical na po yan, sources of obligations versus criminal liability. Pero ina-explain ko lang para at least may idea kayo kasi yan din yung isa kong nakikitang nami-mix and match din pag sa mga client consultations ko, sa mga problema po ng clients ko. Akala nila pag civil, related agad sa criminal, tapos nahahalo-halo. So hindi po yun ganun, magka-separate po yung criminal liability and then as long as may other source of civil liability, pwede pa rin po yun mag-proceed kahit na po walang actual criminal case. And in this situation po, magiging yung source po ng liability is law based on this Republic Act number 1379 or yung forfeiture law po natin dito sa Republika ng Pilipinas. Okay, so hopefully klaro po yun. If you like more legal videos on current events, subscribe lang po kayo sa channel ko. And until next time, see you all po. Bye-bye!